Hey, Kelly Walters here, and today I am going to show you 5 different products to help you increase your online order sales when it comes to fanwear. Now, even if you don't do web stores and you just do order forms, these 5 products are going to help you get started, so keep watching. Now, if fanwear is your jam, or maybe you're just trying to get into offering fanwear to customers or go into that market, well, hopefully this video is going to help you out. We're going to go over some accessories as well as garments that should surely increase your sales. Now, it's really important to look at your demographic, who you're targeting, and understand your audience, because prices is going to be a factor, and of course, sizing is going to be a factor. If you are targeting high school versus elementary, then of course you've got to keep those youth and adult sizes in mind. Now we're going to decorate on some Sherpa. So I'm going to show you a very popular Sherpa quarter zip. We're going to use patches and emblems. We're going to decorate on a blanket using twill. And of course, we're going to keep going over some other accessories and a very, very popular t-shirt to consider. So we're going to head to the press and get started. That way we can break down each product and why it matters. All right, so the first product we're going to talk about is a t-shirt. Now, you may think, I'm already offering t-shirts. How does this shirt differ from what I'm offering? Well, we're going to talk about eco products. So this is a 60-40 of recycled polyester and cotton. So for those that are eco-conscious, this is something to think about. Now, if you also take a look, it's got multiple colors. So instead of just offering a 1 or a 2 color design, the more colors you can add, the more details, and you can really make that garment pop and warrant a higher price. Moving on, we're going to go to a blanket. Now, what's really cool about this blanket is that it is a Sherpa blanket. It rolls up, it has this front pouch where you can also decorate or decorate on the corner of the blanket, but this is great for game days. They can either sit on the blanket or you can cuddle up with it. So whether you're tailgating or actually attending an outside event, it makes the perfect option. Now we are going to use sim stitch on this, so we're going to give it a twill effect. That way we don't have to attempt to hoop and embroider and really mess up these fibers. With heat transfers, we can make it happen. So what I'm gonna do now is just take this out, because we do have this kind of pocket, drape it on our 11 by 15 platen, and I'm gonna take our sim stitch and I'm going to place it just right in the middle. Now that way, if the blanket is rolled out, you'll still be able to see the logo, or if it is tucked inside, then you can still represent your team. Now, when it comes to Sherpa, I always recommend getting in a sample product and testing to make sure that the heating element isn't going to be too harsh on the fibers. If it is a little too hot, then of course you can use a flexible application pad, but I know this blanket from Independent Trading Co. is a tried and true Sherpa, so I'm pretty confident that I can just use a cover sheet and we can get applying. All right, now that we got a cover sheet on there, we are ready to apply. Now that is going to be a hot peel, but with anything that has a really long fiber to it, we want to make sure as we're peeling the carrier away that it isn't also lifting the blanket. So you want to be pretty gentle in this situation, even though it is a hot peel. Now, once you get the carrier initiated in that peel, it's going to come off pretty smoothly. But if you can see at the beginning right there at the S, I wanted to make sure that that S was fully adhered before I started removing the carrier. If for some reason you need to go back and press again just for a couple of seconds, you can definitely do so, but extremely quick, and now we've got a decent sized logo on something that would probably take several hours with embroidery. All right, so as you can see, we've actually switched presses and we've moved to the 360 hat press. So for this, we need some upper and a lower heat, and we're gonna be decorating some headwear. Now, let's talk Sherpa. A lot of people are intimidated by Sherpas. Not only could they melt under the heating element, just like I said for the blanket, but they can be difficult to embroidery. So we get to heat apply a print stitch patch. This is gonna give some dimension, it's gonna give us multiple colors, and we're gonna have a couple of, say like a satin mix with a little bit of a matte. It's gonna be pretty cool. But we're also gonna decorate a beanie, and a lot of people question how to decorate beanies, so I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Now we're not decorating with a patch, we are gonna decorate with soft flock. So this is gonna give us a little bit of a velvety texture on the knit beanie. All right, so here is our print stitch patch that I was talking about. As you can see, we've got that satin sublimated background, and then we have kind of a 3D effect with the embroidery on top without actually being 3D embroidery. Now this is heat applied, right? So there's no stitching involved. So we need the upper and the lower heat of the 360 to make sure that this is accurately and securely applied. Now we're gonna use some thermotape to lock this in place. Because we are going to place our quarter zip, I'm gonna unzip the zipper here and slide it on the 360. I wanna make sure that I actually have the patch in the correct location prior to loading it on the 360. Now, you don't have to use thermotape, you don't have to do this first, I just prefer setting it up like this. So once we're done, I'm going to unzip and then slide it over right on top. Now, with this, I don't really have to worry about where it is because we've got our thermotape locking it in place. But what I do need to make sure that our patch is right where it needs to be on the lower platen. We don't want to be on the outside of the blue because that's not where the heating element is. Now, I am going to use our cover pad, and each patch and emblem requires a specific pad. This one we're gonna use for the majority of our products, but if you're doing patches and emblems, they do state what pad to use with the 360. Now this is going to pop open automatically, and then we're gonna remove that thermotape. It's going to be best to remove it while it's hot versus cold. And again, those long fibers, we just wanna make sure that we're delicate when we're pulling. That way you don't pull the material of the garment up. All right, so that's complete. Now let's move on to our beanie. All right, when it comes to a beanie, we have a couple of different options. You can either apply like this, or you can even go inside out and try your best not to stretch the fibers. Now, I will say, it's very important to make sure that right before you apply the logo, that you do have it correct side up, because there have been times that I have placed the logo wrong. So if we turn this inside out, then we know our logo is going to be correct. Make sure it's center where you want it, matching up with the back seam. The other thing to keep in mind is you'll notice that this is pretty long. Now this is the length of our upper platen, but it is longer than our lower platen. So if you're ever expecting to get that heat from the lower platen, you need to make sure that your design is actually within this range. Otherwise, you'll have to hit it a couple of times. It's not something bad, it's just gonna add another step in your production. I'm using the pad because it's gonna also help protect with the fibers of this knit. Now this is also an eco-friendly beanie, so just like that re-tee that we talked about at the beginning, that's becoming more and more of a talk on eco-friendly products. Now you can see that our pressure is a little low, but this is headwear. I'm not too concerned, and at the end of the day, I do not wanna crush the fibers in this beanie. Sometimes beanies can be a little difficult to decorate, so of course testing is always encouraged. So as you're peeling, again, just don't be super aggressive, just to make sure everything is adhered correctly, and because it is a knit. Now we'll turn it inside out, and you can see our beanie is complete. All right, last but not least is product number 5, and this is actually gonna be a twofer, okay? So this is really gonna depend on who you're going after, meaning middle school, elementary, or high school. So we're gonna talk about a lunchbox, right? So all of the younger kids, most of them bring their lunch to school or they're getting lunch there. But why not already have this as an offering? We can add personalization to it, which is going to increase that product amount, but you've made it custom to them, and you've also given them a really fun logo tailoring to that younger market, but still representing the school. If the lunchbox isn't their jam, then you can easily offer a water bottle. Now this is also personalized, which is going to increase, but you can make the option whether or not you want to offer personalization for an upcharge or just keep it simple. Now we're using a helmet decal on this water bottle, and the reason why we're doing that is because this is actually laminated, which is going to protect it from any abrasion. It's going to be a little bit more durable. I'm just going to peel and stick. Seeing this is one circular shape, I don't need a cover on this or mask unless you prefer. But I'm just going to peel. I want to make sure that it's centered as best as possible with the name. Now you could have these pre-prepped, have them throughout the season, but all I have to do is just move it around like this. Now, I do have a squeegee here, so if I needed to make sure I got all of the air bubbles out, I easily could. But we just did the same thing with the back and the name. This was masked, but I just peeled, stuck it on there, and then used my squeegee to get those air bubbles. So no matter if you are going to run with the Lunchbox or the water bottle, those are great, easy add-ons that are very little time, but are going to increase your orders. Now, if you take a whole look at everything that we've done, you're already gonna have t-shirts in there, you're already gonna have polos, you're already probably gonna have sweatshirts. So these are 5 unique different accessories and garments that are going to increase the value because they're all going to warrant a higher cost. You're going to be able to customize and add personalization. And of course, they're going to serve a purpose. The blanket outside, you've got the Sherpa that's going to be that fashion trendy piece that is also hard to decorate. You've got water bottles, Lunchbox, and of course, eco-friendly options. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Kelly Walters, and happy decorating.